So welcome to the show, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about current events. And the current event we're going to discuss today is HR 127. Kwaku, you can start.
Yeah. As we said before, this is dear and close to my heart and should be close to everybody's heart. HR 127 was proposed by Sheila Jackson Lee. She's a Texas House Representative. And just in a nutshell, it states that as a firearms owner, you're going to have to register all of your guns. Get this, all of your guns, your rifles, your pistols, your shotguns, register them all. You're going to have to register the make, the model, and serial number. You're going to have once it's passed, you're going to have 3 months to do this. It's going to be accessible to the public. So whatever you have, it's going to be in a PDF on some government website, access to everybody all over the world, or all over the internet. So that means John, Pookie, whoever wants to know what you got, they can see that. They can know not only what you have, but where you are hiding them or where you are storing them in your house. So, so far, I think that's just ludicrous, totally ludicrous. It's crazy. You're going to have a license, and you can't get that license until you're 21. So for all our armed forces people who can get rifles when they're 18, they won't be able to get their rifle or pistol until they're 21. So that means you can go fight for this country, but you can't own something, protect yourself. I think that's like crazy again. You have to be 21. You're going to have to go through a background check, a psychological background, and a psychological background check as well. So a mental health screening, excuse me, not really a psychological background check, but that's what it is. You have to have somebody sign off. You have to have 4 people, I believe, to sign off. And one of those people have to be, if you're married or not married, your wife, husband, or ex-wife or ex-husband. So, you can see where the complication is on that. And it has to be renewed every year. For the first 5 years, it's going to be a certain amount, and then every 3 years afterwards. You're going to have firearms insurance for the guns. That's going to be, I think it said $800.
Yeah.
For the $800 for the firearms insurance. That's what you're going to have, plus renewing, plus you're going to, this, mind you, you need this license to own every gun and buy ammo. I forgot to mention that, to buy ammo also. And you're going to have a certain separate license if you want guns that you can have on display, antique guns, different type of shotguns or whatever. So it's a money grab. 2, it's letting people know that, hey, if I got money, I can get into this. If I don't have money, because I'm just trying to protect my home or whatever, I got to keep on paying this. If I don't pay this, what happens? I become a felon. And even in the suburbs, they may not troll them for being delinquent, but where do you think they're actually going to go? To the impoverished areas, to the inner city, to the trailer parks. They're going to make an example of the people who can't pay because, media rules. So, that's just it in a nutshell. And there's some other things to it, but those are things that stand out that really chaps my hide, that really gets me going about this. And we have to let people know that they need to go ahead and talk to their representatives. And we need to come up with a solution, to combat this.
Absolutely. If you look at it, it's not really doing, for people to say gun control works, it doesn't. If you take a look at it, all through like last year, COVID, there has been 1 mass shooting. Like, has anyone?
Right. Yeah, I saw that. There's been literally no mass shootings. Dave Chappelle made a joke about it. It was actually hilarious. But almost none, no mass shootings since we had COVID. So,
yeah. So I mean, in hindsight, with COVID, the government's like, all right, everybody stay locked down, stay quarantined, things of that nature. Everyone's like willingly like, oh yes, we'll obey. We'll stay inside. We won't go out and associate with our friends, family. We won't go out and go to restaurants, blah, blah, whatever. And here we are, we're all locked inside in a sense. We're all locked inside. We're all quarantined. We're all, like, ill, you have, you coughed, ill, get away. We're all at home. And then when we see this on TV, it's like, what's the real agenda? Personally, I don't think it's Democrats know they can't just pass gun control. Like, it don't happen like that. Jackson Lee has been in office for over 25 years, and every single gun control bill she's had has, so if your record is 0-25, it's not that you're trying to pass something, it's that you're trying to get people, it's like the, smoke and mirrors, like, all right, here's a gun control bill. But realistically, it's to get everybody's attention on that while they pass other stuff in a COVID relief bill. So while we're sitting here, of course, we need to address HR 127. It's like Kwaku said, it's ludicrous. Really, a psychological evaluation by a spouse that you probably don't like and probably don't like you. That's a little shady, especially if things didn't end on good terms. You had an ex-wife or ex-husband. Oh, I hate you too. And then the government goes to talk to them. It's like, how was it? Oh, he was crazy. There goes your right to defend yourself.
And then there's no validation of the person that's actually given their testimony against you, because this person could have, like you said, alternative motives. And then that person's word is being, put against you, even though they could be lying. Like, you haven't validated the person that is giving the testimony. So how true do you know that really is?
He say, she say. I think the most disturbing part is the fact that all of your information will be on the internet. Now, I get it. There's the dark web. There's ways that people get your information in this age of super technology. I get that. However, to simply lay out the platter for the criminals, if you will, is just like, it's asinine, because not only will your serial number, make, model, also the location of where you keep it at in your residence. So let's say, like,
who you lend it to, because that's another requirement. Whoever you lend it to, the time period that you lend it to them, it has to be on there. And if you don't notify them, then you're also committing a felony.
Yep. It's like Kwaku said, John, Pookie, whatever. Oh, Justin has an AR in his closet, or Justin has a shotgun in the garage under, some boxes and stuff like that. So
from June to July.
Right. It's like it's literally like a shopping list for those who don't follow the law. Ourselves here, it's like, I'm not going to go to Kwaku's house and see that he has a shotgun under his bed. It's none of my business. If he wants a shotgun to defend himself, God bless him, because that's his right. However, if someone is like, well, I don't need to worry about the law, that's a different ballgame, because it now provides an issue.
And that's one of the points that I wanted to bring up too, is that, law-abiding citizens are the ones who follow the law, but the criminal element, they're
not registering anything as usual.
Exactly.
So while through attrition, when people can't pay those licensing fees, and now they have to be forced to, because they're going to follow the law, Grandma Ann, who's, home alone, this old woman, she's going to turn in her firearms. Now she's vulnerable, in an environment that is known to be violent, have a lot of criminal activity versus certain areas. Affluent,
right.
This is something that is going to harm, a lot of individuals. And when you're okay with passing something like that, there's a problem. We've been there too long.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's about rely on me. It's like, let me protect you. And we all know the average responding time, depending on where you live, is going to be anywhere between 7 and 15 minutes. Maybe even more, depending on where you live. That's not good.
You are your first responder.
You're already dead by then.
Yeah,
you've been dead for 6 minutes.
They're there.
They responded in 7.
So basically, the police are there to just clean up. That's it. Police, and they're gonna call EMTs and be like, oh well, this person is expired,